Rural-urban migration is not only a challenge in South Africa, but it is a problem that is faced by many other countries around the world. The movement of people from rural to urban areas describes the concept of rural-urban migration. On the one end of the scale, in your rural area, there is a decrease in the number of people. This concept is called rural depopulation. As an increasing percentage and number of people start living in your cities and towns, this process is called urbanization. The reasons for rural-urban migration can be put into two broad categories, what we call push factors and pull factors. Your push factors are those factors that force people to move away from your rural areas, and your pull factors are those that attract people to the urban areas. It is important to be able to make a distinction between your economic push and pull factors, your social push and pull factors, and the environmental push and pull factors. Economic push and pull factors is anything that is linked to money and jobs and employment. Your social push and pull factors are linked to the quality of life, and your environmental push and pull factors are linked to the physical and the natural environment. Here are some examples of economic, social, and environmental push and pull factors. Economic factors: in your rural areas, there is high level of unemployment and a lack of job opportunities. Lower salaries and mechanization of farms mean that less manual labor is required, and therefore the unemployment rate tends to be higher. In your urban areas, your economic factors include more and better paying job opportunities, higher wages, and a better standard of living. In terms of your social push factors, poverty in your rural areas, access to poor services or non-existence of services, poor housing and no land ownership, and limited socializing opportunities. Your social pull factors that exist in the urban area would be better access to services, more entertainment and socializing opportunities, and access to shops and better transport infrastructure. In terms of environmental push factors that exist in your rural areas, these include your natural disasters such as drought, floods and famine, but also decreased soil fertility, which has a negative impact on the productivity of the land. However, in your urban areas, there's less threat to natural disasters. Rural-urban migration has negative consequences for your rural areas. There's a decrease in population numbers, especially in the adult population. Mostly elderly and children are left behind. This means that there are fewer workers and laborers to work on the farms, and therefore there's a decrease in productivity, a decrease in profits, and a decrease in personal income. As a result of fewer people living in your rural areas, spending decreases, causing businesses to close down. In addition, there's the closing down of other services like schools and shops. Your rural areas can often develop into ghost towns, and all of this leads to an overall decline and decay of your rural areas. Some strategies in order to manage and deal with the decline in the number of people in your rural settlements: the promotion of tourism, ecotourism and recreation in the area, skills development through education and training. These areas could attempt to attract retired, young and creative people, or could attract commuters from the larger nearby cities, attract investment and business to an area, improve the supply of services and service delivery, and improve the infrastructure in terms of housing, water, electricity, and transport infrastructure. Alternatives could include land reform, which involves land restitution, redistribution, and land tenure, where the aim is to provide more people with access to land and an opportunity to earn an income from the land, and spatial development initiatives that are specifically aimed at developing underdeveloped rural areas within South Africa that have the potential to be developed. Here's an example of a question based on rural urban migration from paper 2 of June 2022. Pay special attention to question 1.3.4 and 1.3.5, as these are the classic questions that are asked should rural urban migration appear in any exam. The answers to these questions appear later on in this video. The following question appeared in paper 2 of November 2024. Again, 1.3.3, questions 1.3.4 and 1.3.5 are good examples of what could potentially be examined in a question paper.